Hey everyone, today we're going to be making little popcorn stitch froggos. Focus please. Not on me, on the frog. And there's actually two variations that you can make. You can make the plushy version, which has, stuffing in it, or you can choose to make the hopping version, which is these guys. Allow me to demonstrate. These are crocheted using the same pattern. You'll just have to make some minor adjustments for this one, as well as get yourself a few additional supplies. So if you'd like to make either, grab your hooks and let's get started. In order to make yourself a little froggy friend, you're going to need some 8-ply yarn and a 4mm hook, as well as scissors, needle, stitch markers, a bit of stuffing, a pair of safety eyes. You can choose whether you want to use 10mm or 12mm, and some embroidery thread or black yarn to add the details. However, if you'd like to make the hopping or jumping version of this frog, this little guy here, you're going to need a few extra things. First, you're going to need size 6 yarn. I'm using Premier Parfait Chunky here. You're also going to need a 7mm hook. You will need a glue gun as well, or at least glue of some description, as well as one of these little guys. These are just a jumping toy that are available for purchase on Amazon. Okay, starting off with my 8-ply yarn and my 4mm hook. Again, if you're making either the larger frog or the hopping frog, you'll want to use the size 6 yarn and the 7mm hook. We're going to begin round 1 by putting 6 single crochet in a magic circle. For round 2, we're going to break this pattern down into parts A, B, C, etc. So we're going to start off round 2, part A, by doing 1 increase in the next stitch. So I've just put 2 stitches in the same stitch for my increase, and I'm going to insert my stitch marker into the first of those stitches to mark the beginning of my round. In the next stitch, we're going to work in the front loop only, and the front loop is the part of the stitch that is closest to us. So this little section of the V here, we're going to insert our hook into that, but not just yet, because into this front loop, we're going to crochet a popcorn stitch. And in order to crochet a popcorn stitch, you need to start off with 5 double crochet in the same stitch, or in this case, in the same front loop. To crochet a double crochet, you'll first yarn over, then we're going to go into the front loop, yarn over again, and pull through. And at this point, you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over once more, pull through just the first 2 loops, pull through the first loop, pull through the second loop, and now you should have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over for a final time and pull through both of those loops. That's our first double crochet complete. We want to do this 4 more times, all in the same front loop. So you're going to yarn over, go back into the front loop, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through those remaining 2 loops. That's double crochet number 2. We're going to then do double crochet number 3. Double crochet number 4. And then double crochet number 5. And once again, they're all crocheted in the same front loop. Once you're done with all 5 double crochet, you're going to pull up with your hook so you leave a nice large loop here. You're going to take your hook out. Make sure you don't tug on this yarn and pull your loop out. We want to leave that there. Then we're going to insert our hook into the first double crochet that we did from front to back. So we're inserting our hook away from us. If you're having trouble finding which is the first double crochet, just count backwards from your last one. So here we are at 5, then 4, 3, 2, and 1. Insert your hook. So we're going under both the front and back loop. Then we're going to take this large loop that we've left and we're going to place it over the head of our hook. You can use your finger to hold that in place if you would like. We're then going to grab on the end of our working yarn and we're going to tug on that so the loop on our hook tightens up. Once that's secure, we're going to pull this loop on our hook through the first double crochet that we made as if we were crocheting a slip stitch. So you just want to pull that through like so. And then to finish our popcorn stitch, we're going to chain one, and that is our popcorn stitch complete. However, before we continue on with round 2 part C, there is something I'd recommend you do, especially if you're someone who finds having visual aids helpful, and that is to grab yourself a stitch marker and place it in the free back loop from the stitch we just worked. So we just placed our popcorn stitch in the front loop. I would recommend you place a stitch marker in the back loop because this back loop is going to be worked into in the next round. And this stitch marker just serves as a reminder of where we need to work into because sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see. So once you've done that, we're going to continue on with round 2 part C, and that is to do 2 increases in a row. We're going to increase twice across the next 2 stitches. Because the popcorn stitch is rather bulky, it can sometimes be difficult to see the stitch you need to work into. So I'd suggest just nudging that gently aside with your thumb so you can see the next free stitch. Into this stitch, we're going to do an increase. 1 and 2 stitches in there. In the stitch after that, we're going to do a second increase. And then in the next stitch for round 2 part D, we're going to do another popcorn stitch in the front loop. Once more, begin by doing 5 double crochet in the front loop. And there's 5. We're then going to pull up with our hook, leaving a nice large loop. Insert your hook into the first double crochet, counting backwards if you need to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place the loop over the head of your hook, and then tug on your yarn so that loop tightens up. And then we're going to pull this loop through the first double crochet as if we were making a slip stitch. To finish off, just chain 1. And then to finish off round 2, we're going to pop an increase in the last stitch. Again, just nudge your popcorn stitch aside if you need to. And we're going to put 1 and then 2 stitches in there. Now we're going to continue on with round 3, keeping in mind that in round 3, we need to work into the back loops from our popcorn stitches. Round 3 begins with 1 increase. So in the first stitch, we're just going to pop an increase right there, 1 and 2. After this, we're going to do 2 single crochet. The first single crochet will be made into the next stitch. Let's do that now, 1 single crochet. However, the second single crochet needs to be worked in the back loop from the popcorn stitch. If you use a stitch marker, you've already got that marked out. So you're going to remove that. You're going to go into the back loop from round 2 part B and single crochet. After this, we're going to do 4 increases in a row. And if you nudge your popcorn stitches aside, you can see the 4 stitches that we need to work with. So we're going to go down here and we're going to put our first increase. In the next stitch, we're going to do our second increase. Then our third increase. And our fourth increase. Round 3 is going to finish with 3 single crochet. The first of these single crochet will need to be worked in the back loop from the popcorn stitch. We're going to go under that back loop and then single crochet, and the remaining 2 single crochet will be put into the increase we did in round 2 part E. So 1 there and 1 there, and that finishes off round 3. For round 4, we're actually keeping it rather simple. We're going to do 4 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 3 times. Round 5 begins with 7 single crochet. And then we're going to do 3 decreases in a row. So we're going to decrease across the next 2 stitches, then work our second decrease, and then finally our third decrease. And then we're going to finish round 5 with 5 single crochet. Round 6 begins with 2 increases. So increase in the first stitch, increase in the second stitch, we're going to follow this with 4 single crochet. Then we're going to do 3 decreases in a row again. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and finish with another increase. For round 7, do 4 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 3 times. Round 8 is 2 single crochet and an increase, repeated 6 times. Now we're going to crochet round number 9, and it's in round 9 where we crochet the legs. So that is another 4 popcorn stitches worked in the front loop only. And like with round 2, I'm going to be breaking round 9 down into individual parts, so A, B, C, and so on. We're going to begin round 9A by doing 7 single crochet. For round 9 part B, we're going to do our first popcorn stitch in the front loop only. Once more, begin with your 5 double crochet. And 5, pull up with your hook, insert your hook into the first double crochet. Then you're going to place the loop over the head of your hook, tighten up the working yarn, pull the loop through the first double crochet, and then chain 1. For round 9 part C, we're going to do 4 single crochet. Nudge your popcorn stitch aside if you can't see the stitch you need to be working into, and then we're going to crochet 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can also, before you do those 4 single crochet, pop your stitch marker into the back loop if you need that reminder. Then for round 9 part D, we're going to do another popcorn stitch in the front loop only. After that second popcorn stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet for round 9 part E. One and then 2. Round 9 part F is another popcorn stitch in the front loop only. And then for round 9 part G, we're going to do 4 more single crochet. And then round 9 part H is our final popcorn stitch, again made in the front loop only. And then to finally finish off round 9, we're going to crochet part I, and that is just 3 single crochet. Round 10 starts off with 4 decreases in a row. Three. And then the fourth one, if I can finish off number 3 first, the fourth one is a little bit different because we're going to go under the front loop of the next stitch. So do that now. We're going under the front loop as we would when we do our regular invisible decrease. But for the second part of the decrease, we're going to work into the back loop from our first popcorn stitch. So go under the front loop of the next stitch first, then go into the back loop from your popcorn stitch. And it's at this point that you can complete your decrease. So yarn over, pull through both that back loop and the front loop you worked into, and finish your decrease. So that is our 4 decreases done. We're going to follow this with 12 single crochet. So we know from the round before that there was 4 single crochet between the first popcorn stitch and the second popcorn stitch. So your first 4 single crochet will be worked across those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Your 5th single crochet, however, is going to be worked into the back loop from your second popcorn stitch. Let's get in there. So there's single crochet number 5. And again, from round 9, the round before, we know there was 2 single crochet between the second and the third popcorn stitches. So we're going to work across those now for stitches 6 and 7. Stitch 8 goes into the back loop from your third popcorn stitch. So I'm going to take you out into the back loop for stitch 8. And then single crochet 9, 10, 11 and 12 will be worked across the 4 single crochet from round 9 part G, the ones between the third and fourth popcorn stitches. Let's go 9, 10, 11 and 12. And then round 10 finishes with 2 decreases. The first of which is sort of the opposite for what we did with the first one over here. We are first going to go into the back loop from the popcorn stitch. So you want to find that, go into the back loop. You're then going to go into the front loop from the single crochet next to the popcorn stitch. So you might have to pick that up with your hook. So I'm rotating the head of my hook around and just picking that up. Like so. Then you're going to yarn over and finish that decrease. So yarn over, pull through the front loop you just worked into, as well as the back loop from the popcorn stitch. And I'm going to finish. And then I'm just going to decrease across the last 2 stitches. It's at this point after round 10 that you can secure your end and begin to add the stuffing. Once all the stuffing's added, you can continue on with round 11, which is 1 single crochet, 1 decrease repeated 6 times. And then we're going to crochet round 12, which is our final round, and that's just 6 decreases. now that we've finished round 12, we're going to leave a short yarn tail, and then we're going to close up this little hole here. For that, you're going to need your needle, and we're going to thread our end through there. And then you'll just want to go under the front loops of each of the last 6 stitches. Start from behind the front loop, push your needle under it and forward towards you. And repeat this for all 6 to... Careful not to snag your popcorn stitches. 2, 3, 4, I did it again, 5, and 6. Then pull firmly on the tail end and the hole should close up. Then we're going to insert our needle back into the center of the final round, and then just weave the tail end through the body 3 or 4 times to secure it. For the next step, you're going to need your safety eyes as well as your glue. I'm going to be using my glue gun, so I will see you all in a few seconds when that's heated up. What I would recommend you do is insert the safety eyes first without the glue. I'm going to be using 12mm here, which are quite large on this little guy. For comparison, in the prototype I only used, I think these were 9 or 10mm, so you can make the determination what size you'd like to go with, but for this pattern I am going to be using 12. So to insert them, just nudge your popcorn stitch back a little bit, and you want to place the stem right down at the base here. And you're going to try and push the stem into the head rather than into the popcorn stitch itself. If you push it through the popcorn stitch, there is the chance that you will see it from the back, especially with the larger eyes. With the 9mm, I didn't have that issue, but with the 12, I have. So I'm going to insert that more into the head and body than into the popcorn stitch itself. So I'm going to push those in right at the base. And it might just take a little bit of wiggling to get it in there. There we go. And then I'm going to add the second one. And if you can hear that noise in the background, that is just my glue gun. It has been making some very weird noises recently. I hope that doesn't mean it's on the way out. So once your eyes are in position, just have a look at them, see if you actually like where they are. You can change up the positioning if you like. So you can, for example, insert it into the popcorn stitch. But like I said, you run the risk of the stem of the eye poking out of the back there, which personally, I don't want that. I don't think it looks very good. So I'm going to stick with just having them pushed into the head here at the base of the safety eye. When you've got them where you want them, we're going to add just a little bit of glue to the backs. You don't really want to overdo this, or alternatively, what you can do is remove them, put some glue on the stem, and then reinsert them. It probably depends on what sort of glue you're using. With my glue gun, that tends to get everywhere if I try that method. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. You don't really need heaps of glue. Just a dab or two will do. And then I'm going to put a bit on you. Oh, that was a lot more than a dab. And I'm just holding those until they stick. And that is the eyes complete. The last thing you can do, if you would like to, is add some detail to the face. You can add nostrils, a mouth, whatever it is that you like. I mean, you could even go so far as to add spots or stripes or something to your frog. But whatever you want to do, in whatever color you want to do it, you're going to cut yourself a length of the embroidery thread or yarn. The length is obviously going to be determined by what exactly it is you want to embroider on. We're then going to thread our yarn through our needles, and then we're going to insert our needle into the frog's body somewhere. Doesn't matter where, as long as it's away from the spot that you want to embroider details onto. So in my case, I'm going to stay away from the front of the face here because I'm going to be adding nostrils and a mouth. So I'm just going to insert my needle into the side of the body here. I'm going to push my needle up through the body until it emerges in a spot where I want to start whatever details it is I'm making. So in this case for me, it's the nostrils. So I'm going to push my needle through to here. I'm then going to pull the yarn all the way through until just a small tail remains hanging on the outside of the original stitch that I worked into. This just has to be long enough that you can knot it off or tie it off at the end. So now you can go ahead and embroider on your details, just taking care not to pull through this yarn end that we left here. Once you've added all your details, you're then going to weave your needle back through the body so it emerges out of the original stitch that we worked into, where your little yarn tail should still be hanging. So I'm going to go into this same stitch. I'm going to push my needle through across the body until it emerges from the exact same stitch. Pull that through. And then we're just going to tie these off. So tug them firmly, add 3 or 4 knots, whatever you think is most secure. Trim away the excess, and then you just need to push that knot back into the body to hide it. And there we have it, our little hopping frog is complete, although technically this isn't the hopping version. If you'd like to learn how to do that, I'll show you in a moment. If you're planning to make the hopping version of the frog, you're going to need to crochet yourself the frog to round 11, so the second last round, using your 7mm hook and your size 6 yarn. Then, once that's done, you want to weave in your end, and we're not adding any stuffing, so our frog is going to be hollow like this. And then you'll need to grab yourself one of these. I came across these at my youngest niece's birthday. They're just little jumping toys. It's going to hit the camera, isn't it? Yep. And according to my sister, she got these on Amazon. So you'll need to grab yourself a couple of those. And with the one I'm planning to use, I've actually cut the arms off. I mean, just because they're not necessary, they just get in the way, but don't remove the head. It won't work if you remove the head. So once you've given your little friend here a double amputation, we're just going to stick the headpiece, right up into the frog and pushing the head, so the round section of the jumping toy, flush against the top of the head of the frog. And it will be a little bit longer, but then all you need to do is press your frog down and let it jump up. Certainly not the greatest method in the world, but it is amusing, or at least it kept my nephews and nieces amused. So that is the really simple way for turning your frog into a hopping frog. And with that, we are finished with this tutorial. I hope you enjoy your little popcorn stitch froggos, or your jumping froggos, depending on which ones you made. But before we finish up completely, we do need to do... Today's featured creator on the hookup is Tiny's Crochet Corner, and she says, I recently started crocheting on July 7th of 2023. I really enjoy it, and my inspo was a bunch of videos. And then she just says she was unsure what else to add in the describe yourself section of the form. So please go and give Tiny's Crochet Corner a like, a follow, all that good social media stuff. All of her links will be down in the description, as well as a link to a Google form if you would like to apply for the hookup for yourself. Before we go, thanks to all my patrons for your amazing support. Thank you for watching this video. Like it if you enjoyed it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you in the next one.